How's it going out there, YouTuber? Cyberneticshark with another new video haul video for you. So let's get right into this video haul and see what I got. So it's been a while since I've done a video haul. Now these are some movies I've picked up over the course of the last several months. Hasn't been just recently, it hasn't been like, a month ago. This has actually been over the course of probably the last, I'd say 3 or 4 months. I would say I've picked up some of these. Some of them I just recently got, some of them I got a few months ago. But anywho, these movies, these awesome, excellent videos, are just another awesome addition to my awesome collection. So let's get right into it and see what exactly I got. So we're going to start out with an awesome TV series that I absolutely love and enjoy. I think it's one of the best TV series out there. Amazing series, just one of the best. Ran for 11 seasons. From 73 to 84, and that is the awesome TV series Happy Days. Now, I ended up picking up finally. I only had 1 season of Happy Days, and that was the first season. And so the other day, I was like feeling nostalgic, wanting to get, watch a little bit more Happy Days. So I ended up picking up the 2nd season of Happy Days, which is just, like I said, an awesome TV show. If you haven't seen it, one of the best ones around. Love Henry Winkler, Ron Howard in it. You have Ralph Malph, played by Donnie Moss. You had the late, great Aaron Moran in this as Joni. You had the late, great Tom Bosley as the father. Marion Ross. Anson Williams. I mean, you just have a huge, awesome cast in this that was just a fun and enjoyable ride. And also the fact that it was, based, during the 50s and 60s, I really like that too because I'm a big fan of that era. I just think it was a really cool era. And this was just a great show, I thought. Really fun and hilarious. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Worth a watch. You can get the first and second season for super cheap these days. Once you get past that, though, they start to go up in price. But if you haven't seen Happy Days, definitely check it out. It's worth the watch, especially if you like, I Love Lucy or Dick Van Dyke Show or any of those shows during that time frame. This is just as good as those. Really fun show. Really awesome. Check it out. Next up is a awesome and amazing collection that I picked up at Walmart the other day for $7.50. And this is just a fun and really great, original Walt Disney series that, made some great films. They're just super funny and silly. Just really fun. I didn't have any of them on Blu-ray yet, so I thought, for $7.50, why not? I'll have them all until I decide to upgrade them. And that is the awesome film series, the Herbie 4-movie collection, which includes The Love Bug, Herbie Rides Again, Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo, and Herbie Goes Bananas. Each of these had a great cast, super hilarious films. Of course, your original one had Dean Jones in it, who was also in the second one as well. Actually the third one, sorry. He was in the first and third one. Then you had, Don Knotts pop up in one of them. You had, a whole bunch of other slew of great character actors in these. Just a really fun ride, especially if you like silly, stupid, kind of car movies. This movie was just super hilarious. They were, for their time, so cheesy, but at the same time, they're really fun to watch and entertaining. I just love Herbie. I think Herbie is one of the best, characters that they've created at Disney. Some of these are just super funny, but at the same time, they're fun. But like I was saying, this is just an awesome series. If you haven't seen any of these, definitely check them out. Start off with especially The Love Bug, because that one's the classic. That one's the first one. That's probably the best of the series. And then you go, Herbie Rides Again, Goes to Monte Carlo, and Goes Bananas. They kind of got sillier as they went along, but still they were fun and entertaining. So I thought that'd be an awesome addition to my collection, so I picked that up. But also, I really enjoyed about these is that each of them have actual disc art on them, which I think is really awesome. So, I mean, even though these are DVDs, they still have disc art. They have The Love Bug for the first one, Herbie Rides Again, Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo, and then Herbie Goes Bananas. I was really impressed with that. I mean, for $7.50, I was like, wow, this is actually pretty, this is if you were to get them each separately, it was the actual disc in them. I was really surprised. So if you're a big fan of Disney movies, definitely get this and check it out. It's worth the price for $7.50. Really awesome, really great. The next film I picked up is one that I don't believe it has a Blu-ray release yet, because I looked up, tried to find it on Blu-ray, couldn't find it anywhere. Even European, ones, I couldn't find this on it. But I thought I'd check it out, because I have never seen it, and I heard that they're doing a remake that comes out this year. And that is the film from 1987, Overboard, with Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. This is actually directed by the late, great Gary Marshall, which I did not know. And he was a great director, I thought. But this movie was just absolutely hilarious, very endearing, just a great comedy film. And I hope the new one is just as good, because this one really is amazing and just fun. I actually just got done watching this, and I thought it was such a great movie. You had Edward Herrmann in this, who was an awesome actor. You had Roddy McDowall in this, who was an awesome actor. You had just a great slew of casting. Goldie Hawn was hilarious in it, and so was Kurt Russell. I loved how they all meshed together, and you got the kids that were involved in this film. You had actually Jared Rushton, if you don't remember, from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. He played one of the neighbor kids. He also was in the Cry of the Wild movie that they made in 1990. But it was just a really fun and hilarious film. Really, like I said, heartwarming and daring. Just really fun. Even Roger Ebert gave it, it was called it warm and funny, and it was called hilarious and touching, and it was considered a huge classic for its time. I can't believe this was 31 years ago that this came out. I was really surprised. But at the same time, it was just really funny. But really good. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out, especially if you're going to go see the remake. Definitely check this one out first, just to give you an idea of what the new one is supposed to be about. And the new one, I recall that they reversed the roles. They have the female being the Kurt Russell character, and then the person falling in the water is the guy. So I thought that was quite interesting, too. But, really fun film. Really enjoyed it. Glad I have this in my collection now, even though it's on DVD. Looking forward to checking out the remake, and hopefully we'll get a Blu-ray release of this. That'll be cool. Really awesome. Definitely worth the watch. Check it out if you haven't seen it. It's really good. Another movie that I ended up picking up, and this is another one that's having a really hard release to get on Blu-ray as well. This movie is just a great 1984 classic that was just fun, hilarious, another kind of like comedy love story, directed by the awesome Ron Howard, and produced by Brian Grazer. And another one that I've seen a Blu-ray release, but it's a European one, and it's only Region B, so I was kind of like, man, that kind of sucks, because most Blu-ray players over here are Region A. So, you can take the punches and try and see if it might work, but at the same time, I'm like, why haven't we gotten a release for this on Blu-ray over here, you know what I mean? And that is the film Splash. Now, Splash, like I said, is just a great, comedy, romance film, starring Tom Hanks, Daryl Hannah, John Candy, Eugene Levy, huge cast, just a really great film. Really young Eugene Levy. John Candy's hilarious in it. This is probably one of the first movies that really got Daryl Hannah into the spotlight, made her a household name. But I actually haven't seen this in years, but I just remember thinking this was such an awesome and fun film. Just really well done. Real funny. Lots of great one-liners. Just really beautifully directed by Ron Howard. The other day I was like, I haven't seen Splash in so long. I want to see it. And so the only thing I could find it on was DVD. So for $4, I said, why not? $4. And this is the 20th anniversary edition, which comes with some special features. Showing the original audition tapes of Tom Hanks and Daryl Hannah. It's got interviews. It's got a making of, all that kind of good stuff. Looking very forward to watching this again, because I haven't seen it in so long. But it's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. One of Ron Howard's best. Great film with John Candy, the late, great John Candy. Just a really fun film. If you haven't seen it, definitely check out, people. It's worth a watch. Really fun. Another awesome film that I picked up, and this has actually been remade in the recent few years. Actually, back in 2008, it got a remake. But this is actually the original classic, which I actually didn't see before I saw the remake. I actually saw this one after. And I can see why the remake was so good, because this one was just as good. And I thought had a powerhouse, cast, really well directed, just a great action thriller. And that is the film The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. Now, this original one stars the awesome, late great Walter Matthau, Robert Shaw, Martin Balsam. Martin Balsam was in 12 Angry Men, and then also Hector Elizondo, who was pretty young in this. This came out back in the 70s, which I was really surprised. And it just was a totally different type of film that I had seen Walter Matthau in. I was so used to Walter Matthau in, like, comedy-type films. So I hadn't really seen him in, like, an action thriller, and it was really surprising that he was really good, actually. And, of course, Robert Shaw, he's always been in kind of, like, action, movies, horror movies, dramas and stuff like that. And he, of course, was really good, too, as well. But this was so beautifully directed by Joseph Sargent, who directed a few other great films. And this was just a really good film. I was really impressed with it. I loved the speed of the film. I thought that the length of the film was really perfect. And I thought that the remake was pretty point on for how it kind of played out. I thought they did a really good job of remaking it. So I really even loved the new one even more after seeing the original. But really fun film. It was, nice to see that they kind of changed it up in the new one, bringing Denzel Washington as the Walter Matthau character. And it's a fun film. If you haven't seen this, definitely check it out, especially if you love the remake. This one's really fantastic and good. Really fun, really interesting, and everyone involved was really good in it. Really, really good film. The next movie that I got, I've been actually waiting a while to find it and try to get it because I've been waiting for it to find it with a slipcover. And I finally found it with a slipcover at Target the other day. And this movie's been around $10 now for the last, couple of years. And this is just an awesome De Niro classic. Really amazing film. Really made him, besides The Deer Hunter, made him another household name at this time as well. Great Martin Scorsese film. Just a really top-notch film. And that is the film The Taxi Driver, with a really young Jodie Foster in this film. This is the 40th anniversary edition, which has a whole bunch of new special features. And just, all kinds of cool stuff. It's got a new 2K transfer and all that kind of good stuff. It's got an all-new 40-minute Taxi Driver Q&A documentary, which is really awesome. It's got the original commentary from the 1986 release on VHS, I believe. And then you got commentaries by writer Paul Schrader and by Professor Robert Kohler. You got Scorsese on Taxi Driver. You got producing Taxi Driver, God's Only Man, which must be another documentary. Then you got Taxi Driver Stories, which is probably about actual taxi drivers telling you the stories. Travis New York, talking about that character, Travis New York Locations, and then theatrical trailer, of course. But then on disc 2, it has a couple other things. It's got a Making of Taxi Driver, like I said, and then storyboard to film comparison with Martin Scorsese's introduction, and then an animated photo gallery. This is just a classic, though. Really amazing film. De Niro was so awesome in this. Just that character was so intense and just really, ominous, but at the same time a good person and a good guy, even though, he went around and killed a few people. But still at the same time, it's one of those movies you're just kind of like, you come out watching and you're just like, wow, that was intense, and just a really awesome film. Very glad I finally got this for my collection. It's just a really classic film. Another De Niro classic. De Niro is just amazing. I absolutely love the guy. I think he's one of the best actors around. Between this and Deer Hunter and movies like, Godfather and, some of his newer comedy films, which I think are just as good as his, dramas and stuff like that. Just an all-around fun actor, and this is a great one to add to the collection. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Such worth a watch. Fun, interesting, and definitely intense. Some great, action sequences and just a great storyline. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out, people. It's worth the watch. Another film that I picked up for $5 at a, gas station. It was a movie that I've been wanting to get on Blu-ray for a long time. Just haven't gotten around to picking it up. Finally picked it up. And this is just a great, sequel. Very well directed by Guillermo del Toro. And that is the film Blade 2. And this movie just kicked butt. It was really intense, really awesome, really well done. I thought Guillermo did a really amazing job bringing Blade back to life after the first one. I thought this one was even better than the first one. Even better than 3, but still 3 was pretty good too. But this was just another great round by Wesley Snipes as Blade. A great DC character. Just a really amazing and excellent, portrayal of Blade. I'm sorry, Marvel character, not DC. But at the same time, it was just a really great movie. Lots of great action sequences, great music, great cinematography. The music was really good in it. Everyone involved was just really action packed and awesome. Just a really fun, high octane film. If you haven't seen it, definitely check this one out. It's totally worth it. Probably one of the better Blades. 1 and 2 are probably the best. With 3 coming in, in the very range, but still a fun film. But this one was really awesome. I love the new addition of this different type of vampire in it, and I'm very glad I finally got this to add to my collection. Just a fun, awesome film. Another Marvel film that I hadn't added to my collection yet, and I don't know why it took so long to get this finally on Blu-ray, but this is just an intense and awesome, and I thought was a really decent Hulk movie. And a lot of people, say that this was horribly made and it wasn't that good, but I thought it was a really fantastic film. Even compared to the Incredible Hulk that came out in 2008. This one still was pretty intense for its time, and I love the ideas that Ang Lee took with it and, developed it and gave it a whole new life of the Incredible Hulk. And the CGI work for its time was really intense and amazing too. And that, of course, is the Ang Lee version of The Hulk. This was just a fun film, I thought. I thought he did a good job of directing it. I loved Eric Bana as Bruce Banner. Jennifer Connelly was really good in it. She played, Betsy Ross pretty well. Just a fun film. Sam Elliott was killer as, Betty's father, General Ross. You got Josh Lucas in it. You got Nick Nolte. Just a really good cast. I thought it was well written and directed. I thought the CGI work was fantastic for 2003. I think it's a really good film. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was entertaining. Loved it on the big screen. And I actually wish, that Ang Lee had made another one, because I even liked the kind of the element that they did doing kind of the artwork or the magazine comic book panels and stuff in certain parts of the movie. I thought that was pretty cool. Just a really interesting version of the Hulk, and I thought it was a great addition to the Marvel family, and just real fun, really interesting. I'm glad I finally have this for my collection, because I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. So coming to a close, pretty much, we have a couple other movies. This particular set, I love this remake of the show, or this sequel to original show that was on during the 80s and early 90s. I thought this was a great, sequel show. I actually think it's really funny and hilarious, and totally makes me think of the original. I couldn't pass up this great deal on Amazon for both the seasons that they've put out. $12 a piece. It was a really good deal. And that is this show that Netflix has brought back, or made a sequel to, Fuller House. This is just a fun show. It's corny, just like the original, which I loved about it, but at the same time, it's super hilarious. One of the characters that's in the show is supposed to be Kimmy Gibbler's ex-husband, and he is absolutely hilarious. He makes me laugh so hard because he's just so stinking funny. But I thought this was just really well, made, and it really is like almost a carbon copy of the original show, just with, the roles reversed now that Kimmy Gibbler, DJ, and Stephanie are now, like, in the roles of what Bob Saget, John Stamos, and Dave Coulier were in. It's a fun show. If you haven't seen it, definitely pull up Netflix, check it out. It's so stinking funny, super hilarious. Thought it was really well done. Really glad I finally got these. I really wanted the show, and I was so, ecstatic that they were so cheap. This is the cheapest I found them. But great show. I can't wait to rewatch these. So silly, funny. This third season was amazing, too, as well. Can't wait for that to come out. Just a really fun, show. If you haven't seen the original show, Full House, definitely check that one out, too, because that one is just amazing, too. Big staple of my childhood. Great show. Can't wait for more of this. Super funny. Definitely worth a watch, people. Check it out. So that brings us to the last movie that I've recently picked up, and for this awesome video haul. Now, this was one that I mentioned before that I wanted to get on Blu-ray, and I finally found it for a good deal on Blu-ray. And when I realized that I couldn't find my DVD copy of this, I had to get this because it's just a fun and awesome Adam Sandler movie. And that is the film I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry. I absolutely love this film. It's so stinking funny. Especially if you're like big into the gay politics or anything like that. I think this movie is very heartwarming to that aspect, giving, the gay community a lot of credit, a lot of, that they're human beings just like us, and that are straight, or, any gender equality or whatever you want to call it, type of people, if they're, asexual or whatever orientation they are, I should say. This movie I just think is really fun about that. I think it was a great comedy. Shed, a wonderful light on, that we're all human beings, that we just treat each other the same. And just funny and hilarious. I loved Adam Sandler in it, and I thought Kevin James was awesome in it. Of course, you got your cameos from all the other Adam Sandler, regulars that are in other movies. Richard Dratch has a cameo in this I thought was hilarious. Just a really funny film. Steve Buscemi's in it. I think he's absolutely hilarious in it. Just everyone involved was super awesome. This really well directed by Dennis Dugan again, which I think he always makes some really good Adam Sandler films. Can't get over how good this film is. I just love it. I think it's hilarious. Makes me laugh all the time. Every one-liner in this film. You got, just a great cast. You had Jessica Biel, and you had Ving Rhames, you had Nick Swardson, you had Ving Rhames was absolutely hilarious. I can't get over how funny he was as being this gay character, and just the scene in the shower where he bends over and it shows his ass and it says Big Daddy or something like that. I forget what it says exactly, but I started cracking up so hard at that, and just that smile on his face was absolutely priceless. If you haven't seen this, definitely check it out. Worth a watch, people. Super funny. Really enjoyable, really entertaining, very heartwarming too at the same time, and just a really great Adam Sandler and Kevin James classic. Really awesome. Love this movie. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. So that's it for this video haul, folks. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for liking, and also thank you for subscribing. And if this is your first time here, and if you've been here before and you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss one of these awesome videos I do, or any of the awesome videos I put up. And as always, keep your eyes out for any older, newer videos you might not have seen mine yet. And as always, check out that awesome link down below about the awesome Horror Pack. Now, the Horror Pack is an awesome subscription service similar to Geek Fuel or Loot Crate that comes to your door every month for a low price of awesomeness and cool horror stuff. Now, each box comes with either 4 DVDs or 4 Blu-rays of awesome horror goodness. Now, each box also comes with a limited edition that you can't get anywhere else. So if you went on Amazon, or if you went to Toys R Us, or if you went to Walmart or Target, or, grocery store somewhere looking for this, you're not going to find it, because you can only get it through the awesome Horror Pack. So what better way to get awesome limited edition stuff than for a low awesome price than to get it through the awesome Horror Pack? So if you're interested in that, let me know down in the comments so I can hook you up with a discount on your first month. And as always, also check out my awesome Stardust app. This is an awesome app that you can download from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store, where you can listen to and watch awesome 3 to 30 second little mini reviews of awesome movies you might have recently seen. Also, you can post your own little reviews as well. So check out that app too, people. Download it and follow me at Cyberneticshark as well, because it's an awesome app and really fun. And as always, catch you in the next one.